Show. Always Irish. Show. Always Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. 2A. Notre Dame fans are not done processing what happened last week. And all I'm saying is the team better be doing a better job than moving on from all this than we are, or it's going to be a long Saturday night again edition of the Always Irish Morning Show. These are odd times, you guys. These are odd circumstances, and we need to get into it. It's rare, but it's important we acknowledge the situation we're in. These are odd circumstances. There's never been a window of time on this program since I've had it for, I think this is my 7th season. There's never been a week like this. All right? And it's tricky to navigate, and it's uncomfortable, and nobody wants to address some of it. We're in odd, rough times, and we're not going to shy away from it here. We're not going to shy away from it here. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm not going to act like things didn't happen and just move on because it makes me more comfortable. There's just a lot going on here that needs to be recognized of where we're all at. And some of this depends on you guys and where you're coming from too. But this is an odd week with very odd circumstances to work through for everybody. Everybody. We've never had a week like this since I've had this show. Things are weird. Okay, so thank you for being here. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Listen, I've been saying it all week. Good week for the brand last week. Why does the highest numbers for the brand have to coincide with my misery index being off the charts? Life shouldn't be that way. Just once it'd be nice for something good to happen, and everybody wants to celebrate with John, and it's fun, and the numbers go up. No, John gets the high numbers when everybody I know is miserable. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on there where you're alerted every time the next misery index video goes out. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishandy@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines 312-988-15. Listen, you guys, on the call-in lines, I'm going to be honest. I don't know where you guys are at. I don't know where you guys are at. And this is a show where I try and cater to where you're at. And this is one of those weeks where we're in the middle of the week and I have no idea where you guys are coming from. I don't know where people are at on this journey. This is a process. And I don't know where people are at. If you need to get your USC stuff out because I couldn't get to your phone call after the game or Monday, do it. And if you're somebody who goes, listen, I'm trying to be like the team this week and we got to beat Duke or this, you think the misery index was high after Saturday night? What do you think it's going to be at the Fighting Coach K's beat up? If you want to start thinking about that, I can't blame you either. So I'm willing to meet you guys where you are at. If I haven't talked to you yet about USC, that's the next nightmare on my damn radar. It's been a long few days. If you guys aren't done with Ohio State, get it out of your system. And if you are ready to talk about Duke and the unique challenge that's going to be this week, we could do that too. Okay. So it really is up to you guys on that one. All right. Instagram, Facebook, always Irish Inc., USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. We got stuff out all the time. Read all about it. Okay. So here's where I'm going to start at. I fully understand there's a game we have to win this week. The entire season depends on it now. Okay. I admit I am still dragging ass. My stomach is still turning from Saturday night. Okay. I'm telling my mind, you got to be a big boy. We got a game to play this week. Get it on the Duke track. Get it on that beating Duke track, not the Ohio State one. Like, I'm saying that in my mind. I'm not over it. I'm not over it. Okay. And I'm just telling you where I'm at, honestly. So there's a lot of the fan base in this where you're dragging ass all week and it's leading into the next game. This is all just a dangerous dynamics, a dangerous dynamic. It is. Vibes permeate. That's just how this all goes. That's why it was extra disappointing what happened Saturday night, because all of the vibes were just perfect. They were all just perfect. Bring back Charlie Weiss. John, it's just a football game. Don't let it ruin your life. I can assure you, bring back Charlie Weiss. At no point in my life did I sign to agree that my body would fall apart if Notre Dame did something bad. I don't want to be this way. I know that it seems crazy to everybody in the real world, but I can't turn a switch and not feel that. I can't. And maybe that's a personality flaw. Nobody would pick to feel the way I've been feeling since that game. If there was a switch to turn it off, I'm sick in the mind. Oh my God, this is awful. It is just so awful. Like, I know there's a huge game this week. I half this fan base ain't ready. And it's very upsetting. And so we're just gonna need to. I'll meet you where you're at. I can meet you wherever you're at. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Okay. And so, oh man. Adam says, John, at least you weren't in the building. I got a feeling the call-in show might have been worse than being in the building. It was a dark, dark night for the group. It's a dark night for the group. Okay. So I want to know where you're at. And that leads me to the point of the week here. And here's the other thing, you guys. I can't win. I've been going through this all week. I can't win. I'm in a bad mood. Everybody in the Notre Dame community is in a bad mood. Everybody in my community specifically is in a bad mood. And if I talk about Ohio State enough, I get certain people saying, you were a crybaby, move on. And if I try and move it to Duke, then I get a whole nother segment of people that saying you're in the bag for Freeman and you're trying to move on from the coaching mistakes. I'm not letting you do it. You're doing me wrong. I need to accept this week. There's no winning. Everybody's in a bad mood and everybody hates everything and everybody's mad. I can't win no matter what. So whatever. I got an email from a guy last night. This is it. You crossed the line with your last review of of how bad that game was. I'm unsubscribing, buddy. Go for it, dude. Go for it, man. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. If you can't handle it, go be happy with your life. Don't let me bring you down. But the point of the week is these damn Notre Dame players better be able to move on a lot quicker than this fan base, because I could drag ass into Duke and it isn't going to change anything. Those guys cannot. Those guys cannot. Like, they can't. So it's a battle of the mind for Notre Dame. Do they enter this game mad with a point to prove, pissed off on a mission, or they drag an ass just like us. And if they drag ass in this environment, in this situation, with these circumstances, Elko, who we all respect as a good coach, game day, undefeated, night game, after you just got stunned and they feel good. It was always circled as a trap. Now it's a double, triple trap, bro. This is all about Notre Dame's mentality entering this game after heartbreak. That's it. So 312-988-15. You could wrap up Ohio State. You could get into Duke. You could talk about how weird this week is setting up with all these circumstances that are bizarre. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to start with this, though. This is a critical point for the Freeman era in Notre Dame. Last week was as well. And because of how it turned out, this week is too. Like, this is a very critical week. All right. You got to get this game no matter what it looks like. I don't care if we hate the way the game looks. You have to understand the human element of what just happened and not downplay it and acknowledge it. Okay. This was catastrophic. It was the worst way a football game can end, with you on the losing end in this environment. That carries human weight. Okay, the players are not robots. They can't just flip a switch and they're not human anymore. This is a tough week. You just have to find a way to steady the rocky seas and get a win. And then people will be in a better mood to calm down, get to Louisville, and then build up USC for the next time John has a breakdown on the post-game show. And everybody hates everybody, okay? So that's kind of how I'm seeing this. Oh, this has been a rough week. All right. I got a bunch of phone calls here, and I'm going to give you guys your time. Let me do some of the good chats, and then I'm just going to kind of give it to you guys to take me where you need to go. I am not here to tell you should be over Ohio State. If you're a mature adult, you should be over Ohio State and keep it moving. I'm not telling you that. And if you want to talk about Duke now, we're far enough into the week that that's justified too. I'm fine with wherever you want to go, man. These are unique times. These are unique times. It's been 18 years since we had a week like this. In this way, it's unique, and it needs to be recognized that it's a specific challenge. Stephen Arado, $2 holler, thank you. Beat Puke or Duke, 48-14. Yeah, that'd make us all feel a hell of a lot better. V1 Rotate, $10 holla. Thank you very much. Don't worry about stupid OSU fans. They just spent 8 months crying about losing to Georgia on the last play of the game. Normal OSU fans understand they got away with one in a game they should have lost. Yeah, it's the frustrating part for me is leading up to the game, most of them, not all of them, most of them were saying, we're going to kill you. You can't compete. You can't hang. It's going to be ugly, blah, 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 blah. That's what they were saying. It comes down to the last half an inch. And then after the game, they're all talking as if it was a 40-point domination and we didn't belong on the same field with them. That makes no sense for them to maintain that energy. However, guess what? When you win, you get to say and do whatever you want. And when you lose, you do not. That's it. That's how this game is played, you guys. You know it. When you're on the winning side, you can say and act and do whatever you want. Post whatever you want on social media. You're the winner. Winners get to do what they want. Chokers do not. Okay? All right. There were a couple good chats I wanted to get to, and then I'm going to turn it over to the callers and let you guys have some time today. There's a lot of you, so we're going to have to keep it moving, but I need to get more people in that maybe didn't get a chance Monday or after the game. Oh boy. Yeah, it's just rough. Pat, Andrew, good to see you, man. Rough night Saturday. Hope you've recovered from the game. Good morning, John and Always Irish family. This game was circled in the preseason, which would ultimately determine the remaining trajectory. Lots to play for. Got to get the mind right. Yeah, it is a mind battle this week for Notre Dame. And I think there's three paths here. Notre Dame comes out on fire. You look at Sam Hart and see how pissed off he is. They're on a mission and the game's not close. That's one path I could see, the one we want to see. The other path is they are just as emotionally beat down as we are and physically worn down. There is a little, you get beat around a little bit playing Ohio State, and that's a compliment to Notre Dame and them that the game was that physical of a battle and a good physical match in that way. So they could come out fired up, ready to kill them, down in the dumps and physically beat up the way we are, or somewhere in the middle ground, which Notre Dame does a lot, where they're kind of dragging ass, but it's like enough to get by, and then they kind of wake up 2.5 quarters in. I could see that too. I don't know what we're going to get. Again, acknowledge everyone needs to, acceptance is the first step to recovery. Everybody needs to accept this was not a regular loss. This carries weight. It is going to linger. It should linger. This is different. This was really bad to the maximum extent, and it's going to linger. And you need to not try and act like that's not a reality, but accept that it's a fact and then figure out how you're going to navigate it, if that makes sense. Like, this is not normal times, man. This is not normal times. Nick Dean, good to see you, man. I've been worried about you, Nick. I was thinking about you. We got to get the offense back on track. That's why we lost. 14 points is unforgivable. Again, I am shocked more people are not complaining about the 0 points at halftime. I'm shocked more people aren't complaining about that. And I suspect the only reason why is because they didn't have that many points. So it doesn't seem that bad because they didn't have a lot either. So when they don't have a lot, you don't have a lot, it makes it not seem as bad. You do not bring a 6th-year guy with all the passing records that there could be in America to have 0 points at halftime. I can't handle that. And then I hear people go, oh, well, John, they moved the ball. Like the way they tried, the offense actually put together drives and moved the ball. You know, what part of 0 points at halftime is horrible are you not getting? I don't care if you're moving the ball. If you're scoring 0, it's unacceptable. That makes it almost worse that they were moving the ball and then couldn't score with it. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Is that really, that's what you think is going to make you feel better, to convince yourself, well, at least we moved the ball. All that means is you failed at the end of every drive then, in one way or another. Ooh, well, now I feel good. 0 is 0, bro. God, it is not the 85 Bears out there. 0 is, it can't be 0. Jesus. Oh, man. Rough week. Rough week. We do, Nick. I'm sure John doesn't mind as it helps his algorithm and puts money directly in his pocket. Listen, bro. Best week for the brand ever. From the tailgate and the promotional run we did with that, from the tailgate live into all the Ohio State media joining other shows, have people joining me. It was a special week. We did a bunch of extra content. And then into how it ended and all the people that wanted to tune in and see me freak out or grieve together or laugh at my misery, whatever your angle is. It has been the best week for the brand of all time. And it's the week I'm most miserable. I am genuinely conflicted and struggling to process how that could all be together. And it's sad. It's the reality. It's the reality. So I don't know, whatever. And again, I got people, see, it's just, I can't please everybody. Captain John, please, let's not rehash the Ohio State game. Enough is enough, beat Duke. See, every time I've tried to do that, though, I get a bunch of calls of people or messages saying, we're not over this. You cannot, it's too big. You can't skip over it. We're not ready. I can't make everybody happy. This is one of those weeks, man. It's one of those weeks. Ohio State didn't even play that great. That's the unspoken truth. That's why I'm still upset. Indy should have won, not because they're super talented, because Ohio State is down this year. That is a unique feature of the frustration, Andrew, is Ohio State's really good. They have elite talent and an elite roster overall. Where they're at right now is not peak prime Ohio State. The quarterback's not there yet. That makes this worse. That is why this was such a great opportunity. And you didn't take advantage. And it's very hurtful, to be honest. All right, I'm going to keep doing the chats, but we do have a bunch of calls. Everybody just try and, it's not, right after the game under calls, but like kind of keep it to your main couple points so I could get a bunch of people in. I'm going to bring up Dr. John first, and I need Dr. John. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Dr. John,
I'm thinking back.
John, I need your help.
Thinking back 46 years ago. What?
John, I need your help. This fan base is struggling, man. This is a tough one to get over, and you have experienced more. I'm not trying to date you, but of all the regular listeners and callers here, you've seen the most Notre Dame football of anybody. Is there a playbook to process in this one? Give me it. You've had a lot of experience. This one's going to linger. And if you have any wisdom for us, let us know.
Well, I'm going to take you back 46 years ago. We lost to Mississippi. I was in the doldrums. I was getting a counseling for depression at the time, so you can imagine the depth of that loss. Well, son of a gun, it dropped us to 11 on the AP, and where are we right now? We're 11.
Yeah.
But looking back on the Ohio State game, yeah, I would have called some things differently. But here, I looked at some of the coverage, and I got to take exception to Nick Shepkowski's use of the word choke. First of all, I don't think a team can choke. If you want to see choke, get the video of Doug Sanders in a 3-foot putt in 1970 to win the Open.
Yeah,
that's choke.
Yeah, that's anyway. Still, I don't like that clip. That clip still haunts me, even on his behalf. Yeah, I don't want to make it about golf, but I know what you talk about, and I know what you mean. Yeah, man, it's just John. Notre Dame had about a dozen chances to do one tiny little thing differently and win this game, and they didn't. And that is a rare opportunity when Notre Dame's on a stage this big, and that is very hard to swallow. This letdown was built differently than the recent ones. Like, if you just have a roster that can't compete with the other team, that's a different issue than this one. And that's new territory for Notre Dame. The fans felt like we're in this thing and we can hang with Ohio State. Now finish it off. That is a different kind of letdown than one where Kelly runs a team in there that can't physically match up with Alabama. There's nothing you could do. And you're just dead before it starts. This was different, and it's a unique kind of pain this week.
Well, there are two things about that game that I would have made some different calls. And I don't know how you get somebody to tackle better, because early in the game, I thought our tackling was abysmal.
Notre Dame is Monday. John, you're not imagining that. Statistically, Notre Dame is among the worst in the country at missed tackles. So I don't know. Is that focus? Is that you're getting too amped up and you're out of control when you're trying to approach a guy to bring him down? Is it technique? I don't know, but Notre Dame's defense is too good for that. And I did think it got a little better later, but yeah, that's an issue. Also, John, somebody sent me this last night and said Notre Dame's almost dead last in the country in tackles for loss. And I did not look up the stat myself, but some couple people text me and go, "Did you see this? the Notre Dame's like dead last in tackles for a loss. That would be, I have not looked up the statistic, but it got sent to me. If true, I don't like that either.
Well, I know I saw something like 115, something to do with tackling. So, yeah, is it a result of wanting them to play fast? Because I want them to play fast too.
Yeah.
But anyway, on Monday's show, I made a note. You didn't want to hear anything positive on Monday. I sent you a positive chat, and the bottom line for me was, we lost that game. It was tough. But what I came away with was, you know what? We have a damn good football team. We do. And I think it's going to be a great football team.
God,
and
John,
some of these freshmen mature.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get better. Now, to me, the critical thing this week is Marcus Freeman coaching up for Duke.
Yeah, they need
that. To me, this is where the head coach has got to shine.
You're right. I just you're right on it. I was doing a preview article for Duke, and I was preparing my notes for the Duke preview show that will go out tomorrow morning. And my number one bullet point, John, was as much as everybody is displeased with the staff right now, it's interesting because they need to have their best week yet, because that is the hardest job this week, is getting those players to turn the page and turn their frustration into rage directed at Riley Leonard and knock him down 20 times in this game. Like, you are right. We are frustrated with the coaching staff, justifiably so. They got to have a great week. That is a big job. It's job number one this week, John. You're right on it.
Yeah, and something else that Marcus said at his press conference, which really epitomized what I think of the staff of the team. He said there are two things: there's responsibility and there's accountability. He's responsible, but other people have to be accountable for stuff.
It's a really good way to put it.
His job is to be responsible for everything.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah. Now, John, here's the thing, man. Like Monday, you said I wasn't in the mood for like anything positive, like whatever. There are levels to the frustration, John. It's like the stages of grief almost. There's ones you go through. And one of the bigger picture things is that no one wanted to hear right after the game is just Notre Dame is moving in the right direction. And it's just hard to say that. And it is hard to accept that. And it sounds like maybe next year and all that stuff I hate, never capitalizing in the moment. However, if you objectively look at Notre Dame, that not even halfway through year two, they're more naturally competitive than they were under Kelly. Like, the team is just, there's more athletes, more depth, more players. You could see they're at a different level here. But I wasn't in the mood to hear that Monday. Not at all. They're close to getting where you want to be, but I wasn't trying to hear that Monday.
Now, Saturday is going to tell us a lot.
Yeah.
If this team comes out flat, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a critical week for Marcus Freeman, I think.
Yes, it is.
As a young head coach, you've got to be able to get over what happened Saturday night, get these kids up wanting to play, and wanting to play fast like he wants them to play.
Yeah, you're right.
Now,
but John, this is weird. It's weird though. Because it is a odd situation with the coaching thing. The coaching thing is like, it's not just like the players playing better or whatever. Like, the coaching piece of that is a unique thing that's throwing off everything, because it's so odd to have that be the main point of what happened. It's just bizarre. And now you need those coaches, and everybody feels let the team down to be great this week to get the team up. This is the life of a college football season. There's no time to cry. I could. These players can't. They got to be ready Saturday night. It's going to be a tough environment.
I agree. It's going to be tough. And I'll tell you what, as far as coaching and Saturday night's game goes, the only quibble I have at all is who was accountable for only 10 men being on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
somebody, and I know Marcus takes responsibility, but it was somebody's job to make sure there were 11 guys out there.
Yeah.
Twice.
Twice.
And I'm sure that's already been addressed.
Yeah. Well,
but as far as just feeling, I mean, I know how you're feeling in your gut. I mean, I have, what did I have? I had 76 years of that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I can get over it easier because I've got so much scar tissue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like an armor of scars. So,
yeah. And you know what, though, John, you've been alive long enough to enjoy some of the top end moments too. That's an experience I don't have. You got to understand that people my age and younger don't have any of the plus side, John. It's all the negative, and there's never been anything. There's never been one thing in my life that I can remember where you were proud at Notre Dame ending the year. No, we've never, ever had it if you're my age. At least you experience being on top of the world. I don't know what that's like. And I would love to find out.
Well, I hope you do. Now, if we go 11-1 and aren't included in the playoffs, I hate to see your show after that selection show.
Well, you know,
but let's not worry about that.
You know what, John? If we get to that, if we end up with year 2 of Marcus Freeman and you're 11-1 and the one loss is to an elite rostered Ohio State team by 1 inch, you could argue that's a hell of a comeback from the tragedy it was in that stadium Saturday night. That would be the best possible outcome for this week. I just hope this team is more mentally strong than I am, because I have been dragging ass and I'm embarrassed about it. I don't mind saying it. I've been struggling. You guys know how serious I take this stuff. And the other thing is, it can't be just go to work and get your mind off it, dude. This is my world. There's no escaping it. It's just the way it is, John. But at least we're all together for it. Even when we're miserable, we're all together. And it does give comfort to know you're amongst people that all understand and feel how you do. And you don't have to explain it to them. They're all feeling that feeling. And there is some comfort in that.
Yeah, well, I experienced that feeling in the gut right after the game too, but like I said, after 76 years of it, I get over it a little quicker.
Yeah.
And now it's just focused on Duke, and I have some personal investment in this too, because back in Minnesota, I worked at a golf course for 13 years, and one of the guys who also worked there, his brother was a head trainer at Duke for 40 years, something like that. He's now retired. So there's a little bit of personal stuff on the line here for me right now too. So, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
This is Freeman's really gut check week.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. It is a unique. The circumstances are so unique, and the magnifying glass is just right on that coaching staff and Freeman now, and they have to have a good week, and they gotta just win this game, calm the seas, and then we could kind of restabilize ourselves and go from there. So this is a little mini crisis you can't let turn into another one. And John, it was good hearing from you, though, man. It's been a tough, last handful of days, and it's just comforting to hear from you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I said it in chat, but congratulations on passing that 9,000 mark.
Hey, thank you, man.
And it's not just because of your depression either.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I wonder how many. How many of those subscribers have Ohio State hats on this week, and then I was their prime entertainment. But hey, they joined up and I'm happy they're there and the numbers are good. I just wish it was for something I liked.
There you go.
But thank you.
There you
John.
go, my friend.
Hey, thanks for noticing, though. That's how the business is played. Thanks for noticing that number going up. Appreciate it.
Okay, bud. Have a great show and go Irish.
Yeah, go Irish. It's like being consoled by my grandfather if he was alive, Jeez. All right, we got a couple people that donated that want to talk. A 502 and a 937. And then we will go from there. Let me get caught up on a couple chats here. And I highlighted some others to go back to. $20 holler from Bob Kelly. Thank you very much, Bob. I really appreciate it. All right, let's go here. Let's see if I can find that. Bob, what's your area code? You got to let me know the area code because it doesn't have your name on the list. We'll go 937-502. And then Bobby, what's going on, 937?
Hey, John. Hey, it's a new day, man. It's a new day.
Yeah, really unique. It's a unique challenge for Notre Dame. And this staff has to have a great week following up their worst week of any of their lives. So this is a very tough set of circumstances. Where are you at? Are you ready to start looking into Duke, or are you still dragging ass? Where are you at?
Sure. Yeah, I consume a lot of content with Notre Dame, and I've already watched Elko already had like a pregame presser or whatever. Watched some of that, and I had watched the Duke and Clemson game, which I would hate to be a Clemson fan this year because you want to talk about, defeating yourselves. I mean, they lost the game versus Duke, and then they lost the game versus Florida State by their own demise.
Yeah, they did. So, but the difference is at least Clemson and that head coach have proven that they know they can get to the top. Like, that is a totally different set of circumstances within the dynamic, because Dabo's proven he could be elite, proven he could do all that. And Notre Dame's trying to break into that, and those are different. Now, I also understand on the Clemson side, that could almost be more frustrating because you're like, buddy, you knew how to do it before. Where the hell are you now? We can't go backwards. So, I get it, man. Football misery is football misery. You can find it any way you look for it, baby. This staff has to be so good, man. This staff has to find a way to get these guys to not feel the way I do. You got to play. They got game day, not even for basketball. They got game day. They're in a good mood. They're flying high. We're all miserable. It is danger time. You got to get these guys ready somehow, some way. Caller.
But that does segue into one of the points I wanted to make. The only thing, one of the main things that you have taken a different perspective on than me from that Ohio State game, that you've really put a lot of the blame on the coaches.
I do.
And I look at it and I just say the player execution, it really came down to two plays where, the screen pass and the interception. I mean, it just comes down to player execution. And you can even say the handoff before that, player execution. Like, it's just players running a play. And it wasn't like, it feels different than some of the Tommy Rees offense where you felt like there was no chance for executing a play. And now it just came down to player execution. And now I have an observation that ties into this. I think, and I'm curious about your opinion because you know a lot more of where the where your chat is from and all that kind of stuff. From my perspective, I think the reaction to the game is different for people who have gone and graduated from Notre Dame and people who don't have ties to the university.
Oh,
That's my perspective.
Oh, that is dangerous. That's all I'm going to say is I have gone over that a million times on all of my shows over the years saying, not always, not always, not everyone. However, I have noticed the people that don't have Notre Dame degrees, how the football team does, it affects them way more than the people who have Notre Dame degrees. And maybe that's just the people I know, but it's like all those people have from Notre Dame is football, happiness, or joy, not a law degree that pays them a lot of money every year. There's like, if the football's bad, then it's all bad. You don't have any other benefits from Notre Dame. I see that every day in my real life.
Now, I got another question here for you.
Yeah.
To me, the one area that you really put blame on the coaches,
Now, wait, if we're going to, wait, can I call, I like where this is going, but can I call timeout? Because if you're going to circle back to that, let me do this, because this is where I want to go with this. You mentioned execution, okay? And you said, if I understand you're frustrated, John, but if they executed a little better and I am acknowledging there were probably 10 or 12 plays where if one Notre Dame player makes one play, Notre Dame wins. Okay.
Right.
I am acknowledging that.
Right.
However, what would you say if I said this? You're talking about execution. I'm talking about coaching decisions that don't even require good execution, and it gives you a better chance to win the game. Like, what I mean by that is, if you choose to hand the ball to Estime in the last drive, you don't even have to execute those plays well to increase your chances to win the game. You could gain no yards and increase your chance to win the game by forcing them to blow timeouts and then running the clock down and leaving them way less time and no timeouts to go down the whole field. That required no execution. You could have gained no yards and your odds to win the game go up. That is what I'm talking about. You didn't even need execution. You just needed to go do nothing. That you didn't even need to execute.
That's a fine point. That's a very fine point, very valid. That is a strategy that a lot of football teams utilize.
It gives you two ways to win the game, not one, man. You get another first down and you win it. And even if you don't, you win it. You increase your chances and your odds of winning the game. Am I wrong?
But you are not wrong. Okay. And so here's my dilemma.
God, I like this discussion, man. I like this kind of thing. Get into this. I love this.
With those last three offensive plays, Sam Hartman being sacked is just like a stuffed Estime run, right? Let's go that way.
Yeah.
Just, whatever. Lost a couple yards, but like clock keeps running or they call a timeout, whatever. Then you throw the screen pass, which would have gone into the playbook of Marcus Freeman saying before the game and all this stuff that he wanted to be aggressive. You want to win the game. And we all have to be honest about that play and just say it was there. It wasn't you can say I don't like the call, but they said they wanted to be aggressive and they wanted to win the game. So they ran a play that was riskier, but it was there if executed.
But it's like,
but then
my reaction to that would be though, okay, I love this. Here's my reaction to that though. When you just ran Estime up the gut for 11 yards, but in that drive, like I count that as trying to win the game. If you do that again,
I know,
like that's also trying to win the game because it was working. Now the screen,
if the screen pass because
the screen
needed
is
something else.
One more,
they were behind the sticks.
And you know what else is not getting enough blame is the little confusion on the handoff there where they got turned around. That play is going under the radar, but that set it all back too. And I actually heard behind the scenes that was a Hartman mistake, that he turned the wrong way there on that, whatever they were trying to do. But that one was an issue too. But like, dude, I get it, man. Like either way, I don't
into another point. But just to finish that off is then the I think, and it would have been incredible scrutiny or praise, but on 3rd and 15, we hand the ball off. So that's playing to just cut that clock down, right? What if you would have passed it? What if you would have passed it?
Yeah, but it's
'Cause
too
to me,
late then. It's too late
says,
then. Like that, you were already screwed.
it's
You
not too
already
late.
screwed.
It's
then.
not too late. Look,
Well, you can't have another
but that-
incomplete pass. You absolutely cannot have another incomplete pass during that drive. You can't. After you did it once and you're trying to run out the clock, you can't do it again. That's out. Even a screen, you can't do it again.
But that's the ultimate, though, right? But that's the ultimate. I want to be aggressive. I want to win the game. I have the chance to win the game right here. And to be quite honest, Ohio State was passing. They were holding and tugging and pass interfering on all of the pass routes. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like there might have been a good opportunity there. But I'm just saying, if you wanted to be aggressive and want to try to win the game, you have the ball in your hands, and you could have, like, they decided to work the clock, okay, instead of now.
Wait, they did? No, they didn't decide to do that. Or they wouldn't have threw the screen the first time, especially after two other ones already got batted down earlier in the game.
That's the thing. There was a confusion. To me, there was a confusion in logic with their decision on the, like, to me, if you're going to throw the screen pass, you might as well throw again. You know what I mean?
No.
You might as well keep trying to get first down.
No.
Because
I don't know what you mean. You can't do that again in the same drive. You couldn't have two incompletes where the clock stops in that drive. They tried the one, and then you couldn't do it again. Like, that is pure coaching malpractice. You couldn't risk that. You couldn't risk that again, man. You tried it once.
If you get a first down, you win the game.
That's why you run the ball to the guy. That's why you run the ball to the guy you just went up the gut for 11 yards, and you had a 93 play yard drive right before it. That's why you do that. That's why you have estimate. That's why you have estimate. Right. Is to be your horse. Be your Clydesdale. That's why you have the guy. It's what he's best at. Now, and they let him run it for 11 yards and took him off the field, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Now, I do want to hit another point. Is in our first four games, our offense in this game looked drastically different, in my opinion. We ran a lot of different stuff, and a lot of things came down to player execution. Yeah. I mean, there was some coaching stuff, but even coaches are coaching with different plays available. Do you think we were too vanilla? I always have a problem with being too vanilla and not practicing in live game scenarios with which would, I hope that moving forward, like the two back set is a core piece of our offense because it really works, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a problem by trying to hide your hand too much. And I'm curious what you think on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurt us.
Yeah, I think here's the only thing that I would say. The only thing I would say is I thought that if you're going to bring Artman in here with all of his passing credentials, I'd see a couple more risks taken. Not irresponsible, but bigger chunks, like trying. And the reason I say that is I'm sorry, other callers. This is a good discussion. I wanted to see it out. I promise I'll get to you. I just feel like when you're playing a defense as good and physical as Ohio State, the odds that you're going to be able to dink and dunk and string together a bunch of 13-play drives good enough where all the plays line up and you don't end up behind the sticks and you don't have to punt and then you're going to score. I just felt like the odds of Notre Dame doing that enough to score a lot of points wasn't good. I thought that's why you got Hartman. They didn't even try and take any deep shots or get a chunk play to flip the field or anything like that. If I have a complaint with that, I maybe would have liked to see them take a couple calculated risks to try and get bigger chunks so you didn't have to just dink and dunk it all the way down the field, taking what they give you in front of you. That being said, they still did enough that they could have won the game, but 0 points at halftime justify that. Like, what is the justification anybody could give me for a 6th-year guy scored 0 points at halftime? That's not why you brought Artman here. It's the exact opposite of why you brought Artman here. I'm never going to be okay with that.
My last thing is just something that you said in your last video, which is 100% true. and I'd already talked about it with like my brother. One of your takeaways, we're missing an elite pass rusher, like a guy who's going to go play on Sundays, like a really good one, and an elite wide receiver, and multiple would be better, but just one would have made a huge difference. So I think that's the key. That's the key takeaway, in my opinion, on going from being a really good team to being a great team.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Jaden Thomas is kind of your default number one, and he got banged up. So, I mean, you were running out there. It was just, you could see kind of where the roster still has some areas it needs to improve while acknowledging that it's getting better overall. Man, I like this discussion, though, and looking at the different ways to do it. Whatever. If the screen works, it's 1 inch higher, then we're having a different show today, and Parker's a hero, and everybody's a genius. I know how it works, man. Right. I know how it works. Like, and if DJ Brown catches an interception, he's got a bronze statue outside the gate already. Okay. Like, I know. Do you know how many times I've looked at that still frame and that ball in his hands, like, since Saturday? Like, dude, this is football though, man. And one of these years, I just hope we're on the other end of this. One of these years, put me on the other end of it just once, damn it. Hey, man, that was a good call though. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good one. That was a good call. I liked it. Here's the other thing, man. I'm going to say this again. I see that I'm getting trolled in the chat, and John's a crybaby, all that. Listen. I think it's weak that these other Notre Dame shows go into subscriber only mode. I don't like that. I don't think that should be allowed. That you want to just be in your own little echo chamber on here. If you're out here talking about all this stuff, then one thing goes bad and you go to where only your little group can comment and they're all on your side. I think that's weak. So I understand some of my people are frustrated seeing some of these trolls. I just think it's the right thing to do, man. My blood pressure shoots out my skull every time I read one, but this is what it is. This is what it is, man. If we won, I'd be trolling them. I got to take it. I'm not going subscriber only. I can't believe I saw that from Notre Dame media. You got to take it. That's what this is all about. Not just leading into the games, but taking what comes after, whether you get to deliver it or if you're the punching bag. I don't get it, man. You got to you're doing this on on YouTube for everybody to see. Once something goes bad, you don't get to go hide. God, I don't like seeing people hating on Notre Dame and all this Ohio State stuff, but it's freaking true. I can't hide from it. I'd never be able to show my face again if I went, subscribers only, so Ohio State people are mean to me. That's a bitch move, man. I do not like that. I think that's wrong. 502 and then 770. They donated. You're up next. Go ahead, 502, you're up.
Hey, John. Thanks for taking the call. Listen, can I fight back on this subscriber only mode for just a second? Do you mind?
Yes.
And that'll be the only topic for me today.
Sure.
So, subscriber only mode. This is why I think you should do it. A, you've got a great show. And B, if people want to troll, they can still do that. All they have to do is click subscribe. They got to wait 3 minutes, and then they control all they want. Your subscriber numbers go up. That helps with your algorithm. And I think that's better for your show.
I don't think that I even thought of it that way to realize, because it never occurred to me to do that enough to figure that out. I think I just feel like I don't want to give off the impression that I'm trying to blunt negativity when it's warranted because I'm soft. Like, that is the perception. Agree. That is the perception that I feel that my show, the genuine show, just reacting and what in the moment, and that's my vibe. And then I don't want to give any indication at all to the outside that I am shying away from negativity because things didn't go the way I wanted. And like, that's the issue, is I don't ever want to give that indicator at all, that I'm scared of that.
I don't think anyone thinks that at all. And you just have to say it on your show, but get your numbers up, man. Get your subscriber numbers up. Just say, hey, troll all you want, guys. Hit subscribe. You'll have to wait 3 minutes.
Look at
and then
this.
You can troll all you want.
Now that you mention it, somebody just wrote, you're soft, just like the Notre Dame defense. Maybe I do need to go into subscribers only mode. Oh, man. I just don't want to seem like I'm shying away from the negativity, man. I like facing the music. And if we won, I'd be giving them hell too. The personal stuff I don't care for. I try and block those when it crosses the line. But if it's regular football stuff, I don't mind that. Yeah, it's just been a rough few days, man. Rough few days.
Yeah, I look at this Ohio State game as a fluke. 1 in a bazillion chance of that happening.
Yeah.
And I think those guys are both coaching staff and the players. They got a chip on their shoulder now. Now they really have something to prove. Do they not? Yeah,
they really do. And your player leadership, I think it's a big deal this week. The player leadership, how Hartman is kind of handling things as the default leader and the quarterback. And it's bizarre because as frustrated as everyone is with the coaching situation, they got to have a great week. It is on those guys to be able to right this ship and get the guys ready. And so as frustrated as Notre Dame fans are with them, they got to have a good week, and we got to cheer that they have a good week and hope that Freeman knows how to turn the page.
Yep. And all I tell Ohio State people, and they give me a hard time, and say, it can only beat us because we were short one guy.
Yeah, man, it's just rough, man. When you look at
and they don't have much to say about it. What are they going to say? Oh, no. Well, you don't know that.
Yeah, they're just.
We were short one guy. That's how
what
you
I
were able
would
to
say.
score on the goal line.
Here's what I would say then. Man, if I was an Ohio State fan and the perception they have of Notre Dame and the way we are, here's my reaction to that. If you said that, I'd go, hey, don't blame us. Notre Dame brags about being the smart school and you guys can't even count to 11. That's your problem. Thanks for the win. You failed. Smart guys can't even count. That's what I would say back if I was them to your comment.
I get it.
It's
I'd
hard.
Just say, hey, next time.
It's hard. There's no easy way out. And
wouldn't it be great to see them at the end of the season?
Yeah, it'd be.
What a rematch.
Man, I'm telling you, physically, that was a great game to watch. Those teams were lining up, smashing each other. It was a good Midwestern football game to watch, and it was good. And but these are unique times, man. This was a loss it carries weight. It's hard to get over. And Notre Dame's going into a rough spot. No Notre Dame fan is in the mood to see us struggle against Duke, but it could be that if the vibes are bad and everybody's sleepwalking. This is dangerous.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Those boys have something to prove, and the coaches do too. And I don't think Duke's going to be, if we run the ball on Duke, I watched them play UConn. I watched that game, and UConn's not very good at football, but when UConn ran the ball, they punched through. They got first downs. When they tried to be fancy and throw the ball, they just got sunk. And as far as Duke's offense, it's pass till they get in the red zone, and then they run it. And we've got the far better team.
Yeah,
I predicted things for Saturday.
And you know what else too? I look back at I wanted to see the last couple games from them. And the quarterback's also the leading rusher on that stat sheet. So not only is he trying to throw it around, he's got a couple primary targets. Jordan and Jalen are their names. I forget the last names. He's got a couple of those guys he targets. But then he's the leading rusher too. So to me, I'm like, dude, just kill this quarterback and win the game and get the hell out of here and stable the situation.
Yeah, the leading receivers, they only got one touchdown, and they scored 42 points last game.
Yeah. And so, but let me ask you this. How much do you value momentum? How much do you value belief? Like, that's the kind of stuff Duke has in its corner right now. They already have a big upset win to start the year, feeling good about their quarterback. He's their engine or whatever. Undefeated. You're getting game day for something other than basketball. Like, how much do you value that? Entering a game with that belief and all that and momentum. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much that matters at the end of the day if they're just better than you. You know what I mean? Or how much they can ride that into this.
Yeah, that upset win at the start of the season was how many games ago?
Yeah.
And they just played a soft team. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're probably thinking the crap doesn't stink. And
Yeah.
I just think they're ripe to have their first loss Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so it's a big profile though for them. And Notre Dame's going to have some late nights this month. It was already going to be a tough month of the schedule. Everyone being at night, man, that is just a grind. And so this one you got to have, and then we'll worry about the next one and then see where we're at leading into USC. And Notre Dame could have, tell me if you've heard this before, another huge opportunity to beat a good team at home. And we'll do that old thing again, but I'm not ready to even think about it yet.
That's right. One game at a time.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate you thinking of my analytics. I guess it does make sense. I didn't even know that was an option that means they can subscribe, but even if they're a hater, they have to subscribe and then wait a few minutes. I like that though. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Get your numbers up, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Get your numbers up.
I get it. Thank you for looking
out. All right, go Irish.
Yeah, thanks for looking out for that and the donation. Really appreciate you. Good call.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Bye for now.
Man, I'm telling you though, this is a lot more put together than we were before, like the last couple of days. At least we were able to like kind of process some of this in a more healthy way. I was in a bad spot. 707. If I could hit the button, I'm going to bring you up on the air. What's up, 707?
Hey, John.
Hey.
Well, I'll tell you what. I go back with you since your days, I think, before YouTube, or at least I wasn't aware if you started with that, because I was downloading your podcast into my phone, before I knew you were on YouTube. So
wow.
Right back to when you started. So I know that when you used to go off. You've mellowed, actually.
Yes,
because you used to go off on every loss.
Yeah.
Every loss.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right.
like what I'm...
Those early shows were rough,
now,
bro. Bro, those early shows were rough. All you could hear is me pounding my desk at work, just screaming at Brian Kelly. Like, dude, I needed an outlet. I was losing my mind and nobody was saying what needed to be said. So I just hit record and punched the desk.
Exactly. And I totally get what you're saying, like what you said to Dr. John about, like he's had the experience of Notre Dame winning, and you haven't, and most of the people in those chats that are Notre Dame fans haven't seen Notre Dame win it all. And I've seen them since 63 or 66, 73, 77, 88. I saw a lot of it. So I know what they're capable of, and I know what good coaches are, and that being said, this is all on Freeman as far as I'm concerned. I mean, my first thing watching that game was when we kicked off to start the game, Ohio State got 2 first downs and then they had a punt. We got it on like our 11, I think, and we drove it all the way down to, I think the 16 or something like that. And it was 4th down and 1. And I'm saying to myself, take the win. You would have gotten so much more momentum if you had gone for a chip shot field goal of 36 yards and the lead. You would have gotten the win right there. They had the ball. They couldn't score. They punted you. You go down the field and score. That's a win. He should have taken that.
Now, okay, let me ask you this. Would your opinion change based on the play calls on the 4th down and both the 4th and shorts? Like, I wasn't against going for it, but I didn't like what they ran. Like, I'm giving it to estimate both those times, maybe. Or I think I don't know, man. And wait, here's the other thing, bro. Do you trust our field goal kicker? Because he's 3-7. He's 3 for 7. I trust him on a
chip shot like that.
He's 3 for 7, and it's causing me anxiety.
I trust him on a chip shot like that. 35 yards or 36 yards, I'll let him do that every game to start in a big game like this, I would definitely take the point because he would make a chip shot field goal. And that would have made him more confident for that other one he missed, the 46 yards.
All right. Now, how would you
like
respond to this? How would you respond to we're having some good discussions today. I like this, man. We were not in the place to have these kind of discussions the last few days. I'm really happy we're able to think of this with some of the emotion calm down. What if I said to you, you're saying we need that confidence, you can put points on the board, whatever. Isn't that a part of the reason they went for it though? But wait, they're probably thinking 3 points isn't enough on these drives that you're going to beat Ohio State with. And we need to like score more. Like, what would your reaction to that be if somebody was like, they knew they need to score a lot and 3 isn't going to be enough, so they wanted to go for it? Would you have a problem with that? If that was the mentality, which it seems like it was.
The only way I can justify that going for it was that it was in the first quarter, so they had a lot of game left to play. However, my first instinct when we had it down to their in the teens yard line, like it was going to be a 36-yard field goal. Take that win. That's a win. You stop them on their first drive, and you come down the field in a good drive. Even though Estime only had his first 4 carries netted 7 yards, so everyone's saying Estime. He was struggling. He was not good in that first half, and that's why they didn't score anything. And I'm glad they were using all their running backs because he didn't have it. Only after they went down 10-0 did the offensive line finally wake up and Estime finally wake up, and they were able to drive down the field and then drive again. All of a sudden, they were playing like they were possessed, and that's where I was loving it because, this quarterback of theirs, he made mistakes where we could have won. That DJ Brown interception is unbelievable to me. Like 37 seconds left, the game is over, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But that kid, McCord also showed you, it seemed like he completed he didn't have one touchdown pass, but yet every third down and long or short or whatever, he was making it. They were making third downs like I couldn't believe. And then a 4th and 7 they completed.
Yep.
And then that 3rd and 19, we had 3 guys around Ekbuka, and he drilled it to him and made the completion. Like, that kid is amazingly good for a freshman. He showed his wares, and he showed why he's a 5-star. Because I don't think they're going to lose. They might lose to Penn State, but I think they're going to beat Michigan.
It's just
weird
because it's weird because he's not a freshman. He's been in the program a couple years, so he's like new, but like been around.
Well, it's his 4th start.
I got to give him credit. He whipped some balls in there on big money downs. I saw a chart with 3rd and 4th down, like all the 3rd down conversions. And now if you want to blame Notre Dame for some of that, for not getting enough pressure or not getting an arm in there, whatever, fine. But that guy, he made a bunch of big throws with everything on the line, and I got to credit him for that. And that's what I'd expect out of Ohio State. They're Ohio State. They have really good players, good expectations. And so now the challenge is, how in the hell do you get everybody's mind right? No one's in the mood for Duke. Game day at Duke. No Notre Dame people care. Like, this is just a bad mix-up of scenarios. So, like, how do you get your mind right for this week, man? It doesn't matter if I do, but are these players ahead or behind me in the recovery?
We don't know that yet. And,
I know.
And like Dr. John again said, it's really, this is the make or break. It almost feels like every week's a make or break for their Notre Dame head coach all the time. But this is a big one. And
I know.
He's got it. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, John, with that Ohio State game, we dominated that first quarter and we passed up on a field goal. So, to me, that is a big difference because all of a sudden, those 2 touchdown drives that we made, we're up 17-10.
Yeah.
And, with going for a field goal. So, but, Morrison, I loved. He played the game of his life. He totally won with Harrison. He won that battle.
Yep.
Egbuka beat Harper like most of the night. And I felt sorry for Harper because I think he was chosen to play the nickel and he had to follow him around everywhere. And it seemed like he was a step behind him every single play.
Yeah.
So
and you know what,
Harper had a bad game.
Listen, some of that when you are facing Ohio State, like, you are going to have to make some hard decisions. You can't double all of their good receivers when they all are good receivers. Like, you got to make some decisions of like where your risk is going to be and where your exposure is. Like, that is the whole point of having a lot of skill talent on your offense, is the idea that you can't shade extra coverage to every one of those guys. That's why you need to recruit a whole bunch of good ones so that everybody can't be guarded. Like, it's amazing how that works. But I don't know,
well,
man.
when I
don't know, man.
I see Morrison, most of the game was one-on-one, and he won the battle.
Yep.
You know, this guy,
Yep.
he got like 3 catches all game. That's insane
It
for
is.
the best receiver in the country.
It's a great job.
I mean,
It's a great job.
Yeah.
And it really is. And so, there was a lot of good things. It was just,
well, I'll tell you what,
you know,
I want to make another
look,
point.
The Ohio State guy, the Slim Reaper, 0-0 first quarter, and he's saying we dominated. By that, we mean you guys were going 3 and out, kicking it to us. We were putting together drives. That is not me making that up.
We did dominate.
That is what happened. Yeah, you guys were punting.
We dominated in every.
We were putting together first downs and didn't finish it off. That's not me making it up.
We were winning. We dominated the first quarter. We should have been 3-3 at the worst. But anyway, like all these people that were calling, like I watched some of your after game posts.
Oh, that was just a joy, wasn't it? Yeah, most fun I've ever had.
Oh,
it was
people calling for people calling for Golden's job. I mean, they've played the first 4 games. They've given up 10 points a game. This time they gave up 17, which gives their average to 12 points a game. And they're 4-1. Meanwhile, Parker, on the other hand, averaging 43 points a game, and scored 29 points below his average of scoring in a game. So, when you're pointing at Golden for making these kind of mistakes, and I blame Freeman for the 10 guys on the play, because when you're coaching the defense and you're looking at each thing play to play, that's what Freeman's freed up to do, is look and see these overview kind of things, like count the number of players, like at least. You've got to be able to see that as a head coach. When you're not busy calling plays and thinking about the next play,
listen,
there's a lot of stuff that Freeman should have been able to do, not being a play-to-play kind of a coach. He's overview. He should have, he missed it.
From what I've researched and heard players talk about, no head coach in America is the guy responsible for counting that 11. Like, that's just so far below the job of a head coach on game day. No head coach in America at any level, I was told, is the guy responsible for the remedial task that is the lowest bar of competitive football. And maybe you could argue now that he should. Coach. Maybe you could argue that he should now, but I was told that is such a low-level task. No head coach in America is the one who does that, because it's so simple to do right that it's below him. That's what I've been told.
I think that's just people, Freeman excuse makers, because when you have guys assigned to the offense and the defense, and each play that they're looking at the next play and the down distance and down, they have their hands full with that. And I'm not excusing Golden from not knowing it either.
Yeah.
And I'm not excusing Washington from not knowing it either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you're Freeman and you're in charge of the whole overview of the team, that's something you should be able to see.
But wait, wait a second. Wait, this just occurred to me. Can I ask you this, man?
Go ahead.
Did the player who is not out there, what was he doing? What was he doing? Where was the player? Where the hell was that guy? What was he doing?
I know.
Was he not going, insane. Holy shit, wait a second. I'm supposed to be on the end of this line and I'm on the sideline? Or did nobody even know? How could this be? Haven't they practiced that formation and there's a guy that's not there 2 times in a row? Nobody noticed it. How is that even possible?
That's insane. How the players don't correct that. And again, that to me, I'm thinking linebackers should see that there's a gap there. You know, like when you're standing up and watching the line and you're getting down to a 1 yard play, you gotta know. Everyone's got to know it. The whole defensive unit has to know there's people missing.
I don't know, man. It was, and then you got to now. I mean, I know now Freeman said, well, now we have a plan if that happens again. Fine, but this was the moment, man. Like, that's great, but this was the moment. Anything else, my friend? It was good touching base with you, man. It's just been a rough few days.
Yeah, I have two other things I was going to say, and the first one is Lou Holtz went down 20 pegs, in my opinion. Notre Dame needed his comments like a hole in the head. You know, he would never have talked like that if he was the coach of that game. He always gave praise to every other team, no matter how weak they were. For him to say that, it was just like the biggest stupidity move. It just gave them ammunition that we didn't need to do.
Yeah, usually lose the one going, we're going to lose to Navy every year. You know, everybody's great.
Yeah.
Lou was always the one to build up all the other teams to try and sneak up on him. You know what it is? Maybe in his old age, 86, he's letting it rip now. The hell with it. I'm just going to say whatever I want.
Well, I don't know. I
whatever,
just can't explain
man.
it.
That's the least of my worries.
You know what?
That's the least of my worries this week is that 86-year-old fighting Ryan Day in a parking lot. Oh, shit. God,
the last thing I'll say, John, before I move, is that, you know, even if they did have that 11th guy on the field, there's no guarantee that they would have stopped him. So,
yeah, I know.
You know, take that for what it's worth.
I don't want to bring this up. There are photos circulating of a different angle that suggests that guy might have been down short. And I'm not circulating that on Twitter. I don't want to be that guy. I have been forwarded many little angles of people going, are we sure about this? And it looks like he's short. I don't know, man. Whatever. We messed up and we need to move on and we need to win out. And that's the bottom line.
I'll tell you this. We dominated most of that game. And, you know, for them, I'll bet if you were to ask any Ohio State fan or player during that game as it wound down to that 3rd and 19, because you remember the play before that, he threw a pass that was like intentional grounding. Is like the game was over. And I'll bet most Ohio State fans would agree they were losing that game.
Yeah.
But boy, that McCord made a 3rd and 19. That was a beautiful pass. I mean, in between three guys, and that's what saved their ass.
They were in the and the coverage they were in was terrible. Hey, man, it was nice catching up with you. Thank you.
You betcha.
Have a good one.
Go Irish. Bye.
Yeah. Dude, you Ohio State people need to. Do you have nobody you like on the Ohio State side that you could go celebrate with? Like, I don't get it. I say one thing about one picture that somebody sent me showing that he might have been short, and all of the Ohio State, oh, stop, you know, the coping so hard. The next word out of my mouth was, I'm not even going there. We blew the game. I'm not even like, I'm just mentioning. A lot of people sent me that picture going, if you look at this angle, I think he's short. Oh, God. Yeah, Pat's right. Lou's retired. I don't think he gives a shit anymore. All right? Like, yeah, he's about to start golfing at Augusta. I think Lou's past caring. I really do. $5 holler from Dober. Wow. God bless you, John. This show is helpful therapy for me. I haven't been this depressed since I was at the Bush Push game. We appreciate you. Me too. Me too. I'm having a lot of Bush Push flashbacks this week. That's just, it is. Yep, it's what it is. And it took me a really long time to process that. Another donator, 301, let's have some fun. And then we'll go 845 after that. What's going on, 301?
Hey, John, this is Tom calling. I spoke with you Saturday night there. I was one of the late callers. First-time caller. I was checking on your blood pressure.
Oh, man.
I gotta say,
I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was. I appreciated it. You called in literally worried about my physical health. Yeah, you are legitimately worried about my physical safety, and I appreciate you for that consideration. Thank you. Nice guy. Thank you.
Well, hey, couple of things I'll go over with you today because I know you got other callers, but I'm still recovering. I as a fan, I don't sit down during the game, and I watched the whole game there, obviously, and I didn't play in the game, but boy, John, it feels like I carried the ball 40 times. I'm still hurting even to today, but
yeah.
Getting closer to the Duke game, so I'm starting to feel a little better now to move on.
But see, man, that's right where what you just said that's exactly where I feel I'm positioned. And we're in a weird in between where the football part of your brain tells you, gotta move on, gotta have this game at Duke, gotta move on. Your body and your emotions are like still stuck with like last week. It's just, I just feel icky inside. I just hate it. I just hate it so much.
Same way.
I hate it. I just hate it.
But I know everything. Can't say much more. But going back to that game, one more thing. I didn't know if you'd be still talking about the game today, but since you are, I'll bring it up. Even when we did good that night, it turned out bad for us. When we got that ball back after the stop, I said to my son, 2 first downs, this game is over. Well, what do? We get 11 on first down, and then we get like 12 on the next time we get the ball. If we'd have only got like 3 yards, and then they'd have called a timeout, then another 3 yards, and then we got it too quick. I got my 2 first downs, but I didn't get them in the order in the way that I wanted to get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even when we did good, it came back to bite us.
Yeah, it's man, you know what's weird is if you just play out in your mind, one little tiny thing out of about 12 different ones had to just go one little way different, Notre Dame wins. And it is amazing. If you backtrack this thing, if you reverse engineer this thing, it's absolutely unbelievable. If you reverse engineer it, it almost feels like every decision Notre Dame made the last 4 minutes was made to favor Ohio State. Like if you know how it ended and reverse engineered it, every single one of those details just played right in to help them win. Like it's amazing, man. And I just don't, how do you get this team to just move on from this pain and get them to take that frustration out on Duke and not internally on themselves? That is a big deal this week. It's a big deal.
One of my other points was I'm sick over the loss. I'm not happy over the loss. But I brought up Saturday night when I had the flashback of the BC game when the boy dropped the interception.
Yep.
Even to that, going back, if we'd have won Saturday, I'm wondering, a coach could probably answer this better than me, but if we'd have won Saturday, the hype would have been, everybody had been drinking the Kool-Aid, everybody had been, Notre Dame's back, look how good we are. And I was worried about that because I thought they would beat Ohio State. Then going into Duke and having a letdown, like next thing you know, first quarter, we're down 14-0 after, drinking the Kool-Aid all week. How good they were. I'm wondering if it's harder for a coach to go in there now, like we're down with a chip on our shoulder. Would it be easier to pump them up? Come on, let's right the ship. Or is it harder the other way to, hey guys, we're good, but it's just one game. We got to keep moving on.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my answer to that. Oh God, I've thought of this. I'm thankful for today's show. It's the first time I feel like everybody's been calmed enough down that we're able to talk about some of this stuff. I've thought about this both ways that you're saying it, which is harder to motivate for. I don't know, but I'm taking the one where I already don't have a loss on my ledger. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather have that one.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what is the easier or harder motivational path after a loss or a win to get your guys to focus. I don't know, but I know I'll deal with the one where we already have no losses on the schedule. And then I'll deal with because now your circumstances have changed. Now you cannot afford another loss anywhere. It changes. All of the calculus now changes. So I would much rather have the problem of how do I get these guys to calm down after the biggest win in 30 years than how do I get them up after the biggest public failure a coach has ever had in 30 years? These are very different things. I'll take the one without the loss.
Yeah, that's the one I'd want to try and fix. Anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. That is an easier motivational path and one that I'd be in a lot better mood navigating. That's what I'm going to say.
Well,
So I don't know, man. I think Hartman comes out pissed off. I think Hartman is like, this can't be not what I came here for. Now he's mad. I need to see that guy go off. I want to see anger channeled in a healthy way against Duke. Okay.
uh-huh. Well, let me hear your coaching hat on for this too. I always go little things. I like Saturday night. I don't know if we won the toss or how it was, but we put the defense out there. What do you do Saturday night? Do you throw the offense out there first, or do you kick off?
Unless it's like Navy, I like playing defense first. And hear me out
I
here,
do
man.
too.
Hear me out here.
I do too.
Okay, here's one thing. I don't know what the halftime score is going to be, but I like the idea that I have a chance to get the ball out of the half and either close on a team or build on my lead, and I get that first chance.
I agree with you.
Once I know the circumstances of the first half, I just like having that in my pocket as a way to catch up or extend a lead and have the halftime to figure out how I want to do it. I like that. Here's the other part of this, though. I've spent many years thinking about this. Good question. Here's the other part. I feel like it's a little easier to ease into the beginning of a game on defense than offense. Like, you don't have to like make the plays. You can kind of run out there and hit somebody and like loosen up a little. I just feel like for some reason it's a little easier to ease into a game on defense than offense. And the strength of Notre Dame's team the last 10 years has been the defense. So I like the idea of kick it to them, ease into the game that way, get off the field, and then you're way ahead. You get the ball back and you get the ball out of the half. I would prefer that because of those reasons.
I agree, because even when I watch a game, Kelly used to like to always take the offense, but even when I'm watching a game, like
Kelly,
I'm thinking,
let me get the ball. We want the ball. We want the ball. Call a timeout. We don't have the first play lined up. Oh, okay.
Because even when I'm watching the game, I'll be saying, like, if the other team's driving or whatever, this, and I thought, and I'll say, well, they get the ball yet to start the second half. I like to have it for that second half because your defense is hyped, going to be raring to go. And I'll tell you another good thing about this week, as far as with us losing and getting, I know game day's there again. Like going back to that BC game where after the big hype of Notre Dame beat Florida State, and then it's a dull week. Well, at least Notre Dame's going into an exciting environment again because you got game day crew there. You're going to it's going to be tough being on the road now, but as far as get them back up ready, hey, my God, we're back in another football game. We got to get ready.
Yeah. And the other thing is,
listen,
the other thing is, let's not kid ourselves. The Duke football stadium is not the big house. Okay, there's 40,000 people there. However,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's small. I think it's only like 40,000 something. But let me tell you this, though. Duke football is not used to this kind of attention and propping up and promo. They are going to be ready for this. This is a big deal for Duke to have this in football, not basketball. They are going to be excited. Their side is flying high. And I don't know whether it's true or not, but they look at Notre Dame as a bleeding out, wounded animal. And Mike Elko is good enough that if you let him, he will deliver the kill shot if you let him. That is real. So Notre Dame just better be ready.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I don't know, man. But listen, it meant a lot to me for you to check in on my health. Anything else on your mind? Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to tell you, now today's, like I said, I was the mailman. I had a day off. If I ever don't call you, John, I'm always listening. I always listen to you in the aftermath. The call-in show is already over, and I'll just listen to it.
Yeah.
But you're my information. I haven't listened to any. Finally, last night, I was able to watch the last 2 minutes of the game again, and I didn't watch anything since Saturday night. But you're my info guy. I don't need to listen to the chatter to them guys or anything. But if I don't call, I don't want you to think. I just want to. I know I'm being repetitive. I told you this Saturday night. I love your show, and next time I call you, I'm going to go into your Rocket thing because Rocket's from up my way. I'm going to let other callers. Now, I notice you have the Rocket in your background.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know I listen to your show. If I don't call in every time, I'm hearing it, and I really appreciate what you do.
Hey, thank you very much, man. Thank you for the kind words. And I am humbled and blessed that people want to be a part of this, and it's growing. So thanks for joining, my friend.
Yeah, it is growing for you. Sounds like it's getting big, huh?
Yeah, well, last week was a big week. You know, I made the rounds, joined other shows, had people join me. We had the big tailgate event the week before, and then all the fallout. It's just been a lot of traffic. So I am thankful for that. I just wish it wasn't in these circumstances.
Hey, one thing real quick. You
yeah.
brought up that, I'm going to look at the angle now for that knee being down.
I'm not trying to make it that. I'm just saying I had 20 people send me the picture last night, and I'm not even in the mind frame. I can't do it. We blew it. We blew it. We deserve to lose. All right, all the Ohio State people, all the Ohio State people in here, we deserve to lose, and we lost, so back off. Okay, chill.
I see that right tight end. I see a little flinch on him before. I think I'm seeing things. Like sometimes you see what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's
but I thought it was almost a little movement on that line.
Yeah, hey, I'm just telling you, we deserve to lose. You make that mistake, you deserve to lose. No excuses. So it is what it is.
Well,
hey,
hopefully we can start fast Saturday.
Yeah.
Get up there, and I like to have a 2-score lead comfortably throughout that whole game. Get the crowd out of it.
There you go.
John, I really enjoy your show, and have a good day.
Oh, thank you for the kind words and the loyalty. I really appreciate it. What a nice guy, man. I have some nice callers. I really do. You guys are cool. You guys are cool. 404. Give me some more. Welcome to the program.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Kind of a weird, it's just weird. That's what I'll say. Weird. These are weird circumstances and a weird mix of thoughts and feelings. It's just an odd place to be for the Notre Dame community this week, man.
I'm right with you. Hey, just a little FYI, 58, been a fan since probably early 70s. Moved to Georgia in 91, about 30 minutes outside of UGA. And I got to liken Marcus's track similar to Kirby's in the fact that, man, they were ready to run him out of town after 2 years just based off of some of his in-game stuff.
Yeah. And
I kind of see a little bit of that with Marcus turning the recruiting trail around, but still a little behind on the in-game stuff. But the reason I wanted to call was several things. And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but hey, it is what it is. But I was happy with the final drive with the play calling. A lot of people upset about the screen, but the first pass of that drive, if it goes incomplete, where are you at? And I don't hear people talking about that.
You mean, was that the one to Flores out to the right by the sideline? Was that the one you're referencing? Yeah. Okay, now I have an answer to that. Here's my answer to that. Maybe they had it in their minds that they didn't want to just be conservative and run it there, because if you don't get a first down and you punt it, you're so far back punting that you set them up at basically midfield, and that is too much. I thought of that too, and I was thinking I could get them saying, we can't get too conservative here without at least one first down, because if we have to punt it, you're not flipping the field then. I did think of that, but I don't know, man. And if the screen hits, he's a hero and everybody is happy. So it's just painful, man. And you know what?
Oh, no.
The Hardman play.
Hey, I can see both sides.
People need to talk more about the messed up handoff play. That is getting missed in this, and it really put us.
Coogan missing.
You know, like that.
How much of that was Coogan not being fast enough to the block? Because if Coogan gets that block, he hands that ball off, and Jeremiah's got, at least 12 yards.
Yeah, I mean, so there was that play too that got messed up. And listen, man. When something works, everybody's a genius. And when it doesn't work, everybody knows they would have done the other thing and is an expert. I know these things are hard. I just Notre Dame.
Also, let's not forget about the false start that JD had on the punt right before that. He gave up 5 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, And then you also have, and then they had the return. Now, would we have been better off kicking the ball to where it rolls for 20 yards and runs more clock there? I mean, you can second guess on all of it, I guess, and it doesn't make you feel any better.
Yeah.
Kind of almost makes you feel worse, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and then, you talk about the points. Well, we had seven real-time possessions. So if we scored on every play, every possession, you're 49 points. And we had 5 drives that we should have gotten points out of.
Yeah.
Out of the 7.
Yeah. And if, let me ask you this. Now that I'm getting removed from the game and the emotions, I'm in a better place to think about some of this stuff. Let me ask you this. I'm extremely hurt and disappointed with the result and all that, blah, 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 blah. We all know that. On the plus side, do you agree with me that the way Notre Dame looked in this game, in this moment, physically against an elite roster, 4 or 5-star recruits all over? If I could take the emotion out of it, one positive is Notre Dame belongs on the same field with a team like this now. And I'm not sure we could say that for a very long time, but they are getting there. Last year, and then more so even this year, they can physically hang with a team like this. And that is new for Notre Dame. I'm embarrassed to say it, but that was not the case for the majority of the Kelly era. Like, that is an improvement and a good sign of the overall arc of this while I'm miserable in this moment. Do you agree with that take overall?
I do. And I'll give you one more. With how the season's gone and how this game played out, I wasn't concerned that we were going to lose the game until they converted the 4th and 7 on that final drive. I was still comfortable whenever we were down 10-0.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how comfortable I felt with this team.
Yeah.
And then I want to touch on 2 other things, if you don't mind. And one is the 10 men. We all know what goes on and all that. But 2 things. Number one, the same thing happened against Tennessee State. And, of course, nobody thought anything about it. Was it because we were playing a bunch of kids that don't normally play or whatever? But that's when the protocol should have come in as to what to do with 10 men on the field.
No, that's a really good point, because when you go down to break your film down later as a staff, and then you see that's where you do the protocol to not end up where we are now, that now you need to come up with a protocol. It's Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. All these smart Notre Dame people count to 11.
But looking at the live shot, I haven't had the heart to go watch the game again. I kept thinking, man, something looks wrong in the middle of the field.
Oh, you were right.
Even after when they threw the pass. But looking at a coaching perspective, when you're on the field, Marcus can only go down to like the 35. He's on the other side of the hash. He's got all the big Ohio State players in front of him. That's got to be called from the booth. I'm sorry. That's got to be called from the booth. And then one last thing, and then I'll let you go because I know other people are. I had seen a couple people mention that were at the game that after that timeout, that Rubio started to run onto the field and the coaching staff called him back. And I didn't see it. Hopefully people that were at the game say, yeah, that was right. Or whether someone was just saying something to make, content or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know that either.
I don't know.
And I haven't gone back. I'm not ready for that. Just like Bush push. Maybe there'll be a year, but this ain't the one. Like, I just can't, and
then can I ask you one last question?
Certainly.
I mean, at 11-1, if an SEC team gets in and a Big Ten team gets in and a Pac-12, which I think Pac-12 is arguably the best conference this year, and then FSU doesn't get beat, where does that leave us?
Yeah, out probably. And the other issue is, here's the other thing I'm playing in my mind. What happens with Michigan and Ohio State has a lot to do with this, because you know what I mean? Like because we lost to them, and then what's going to happen if they beat Michigan and Michigan's undefeated? They're going to say, well, Ohio State's great, and that was Michigan's only loss. Put them both in. And then if Michigan beats Ohio State and they're undefeated, they're going to go, well, that's their one loss, and they beat Notre Dame. I'm worried those two are going to have 2 spots. And then you have the SEC. I don't know. It could, let's put it this way. I'm just not we're not there yet for me to even worry about it. So, but it already crossed my mind, and it's just a weird deal. If you went 11-1 with this schedule, and your only loss is to an Ohio State team by a half an inch, and you don't get in, that's rough. And then the good news for Notre Dame fans is, don't worry, next year's the expanded playoff. You'll never be in that position again. Like, that's the way I would look at it. You're like, all right, well, you don't have to deal with that again because you're going to the 12-teamers. So, but yeah, man, but I got a lot of shit to worry about before I worry about that.
Yeah. And well, next year we don't have a quarterback either, so we're going to be like
don't even. Don't do that.
I mean,
don't. I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet.
I'm with you.
I'm not ready yet I'm not ready to have that. It's on the list, but I'll get to it when I get to it because I know where you're going and I know your worries, and you are going. Now that we see Artman and it looks way better, we are not ready to go backwards in that area. I know what you're thinking and I know what you're feeling, buddy.
Well, anyway, I picked you up after the Stanford game last year and have been hooked ever since. Probably missed maybe a half dozen shows since that time, and really appreciate the content that you put out, and as well as the callers. But anyway, hopefully things will turn around and we will boat race Duke.
There you go.
It's a hope.
There you go.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the call, my friend, and the kind words. Call again. Thank you. Telling you, man, I got nice people that call in here. They like being heard. This has got to be an Ohio State guy. $5 holler. Thanks for the donation. Tell Lou to sit down and eat his cream of wheat. And if he's well behaved, he can have a few Werther's original. Bro. Oh my God. This is not true at all. No, this is not true. The only tip pass was the screen. If by that you mean 3 of them got tipped, then yeah. The one almost got intercepted earlier in the middle of the line between the guard and the tackle in that gap, literally almost got intercepted. And then in one of the earliest drives, they threw the same one out to the right again, and it got tipped. So there was 3. There was 3. Not 1. And that matters to me because when you went to dial up the third, you already had 2 that they jumped. That's why it matters to me. That's why it matters to me. So I don't know. 407. What's going on? Hello. 407 fell asleep. This is hilarious. I like the honesty. I just went over what I saw with those screens. He goes, oh, damn. I was drunk. Yeah. What happened to 845? 845, make it come alive. What's going on? I'm sorry. I'm not myself.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm not myself this week. I'm struggling. My brain's all over. What's going on? How are we doing?
Man, I am thankful for you. So first and foremost, let me just start off saying, hey, it was a pleasure seeing everybody. I know it's a few weeks ago now, but at the Central Michigan game, meeting yourself, man, your brother, your mom and dad, Pat, Dr. John, Willie B., Mark with glasses, Greg, just everybody. Yeah. What a great time that was, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, we had Mikey Poles. We had everybody. We had the good doctor. I'm telling you, I mean this. The best part about this show growing over the years is the circle of people. Like, it's all like-minded people, and now we're all friends, and it grows. It's a beautiful thing, man. That's what it's all about. We have a good group, and it's growing. It's beautiful.
So I came down from obviously from Texas to Chicago, flew into Chicago, and then drove to South Bend with a gentleman that lives over in Chicago while our wives were touring the city, essentially. And he was all about it, man. Just loved it, and is also now a subscriber to the show. So not only that, but doing those grows makes the show grow even more. And so congratulations. I know everybody's been talking about that today, but man, just like it's a good time. I hope that happens every year, and we go from there. So, but all in all, man, therapy for the week. that's needed. I felt exactly what you were feeling after the game. I am so surprised that you had the wherewithal to do the post-game show, because I don't know how you were doing it. I think I put
Didn't
in the
have
chat
an
a few
option.
times, like, John, I can't even believe you're getting it done.
Didn't have an option, man. Listen, when that game ended, a close confidants, like people that I trust with information about this show and what I'm trying to do, said, maybe this is a moment, knowing the way you are, that you need to just wait till the morning and then do this in the morning, because you're going to be bad and all the calls are going to be bad. And like, maybe, are you sure that this is smart to do it? And my answer was, I have to do it. It's not an option. You cannot do what I do and then when something bad happens, disappear. So I knew it was going to be horrible, but I had to do it. I was sober. There's no way I could do it if I were drinking like the callers. I knew I had to be sober for this one, good or bad, or it'd get away from me. You had to go live. I had to, for our people to get it out, and so that other people see that I'm just not a front runner, and that if something bad that goes on, I'm still there. So it was the right thing to do, even though I hated it.
Listen, I had a few drinks in me. I certainly couldn't have done it. But I'll tell you this too, in the days since, I've very much limited the media I've consumed, really, to just you and a few others, only because there's only a few people out there that are being truly critical of what really occurred. I'm surprised how many people are putting it on the players as opposed to the coaches. I do think there's certainly culpability all around.
Why
but
can't it be both?
In this,
why can't it be both?
For sure.
Like, you could just acknowledge there were
I
like
think
10 or 12 plays where if one Notre Dame player steps up and does something, we win. And also the coaching at the end, I don't feel, I mean, it literally stopped us from winning the game. Both are true. Both are fair.
Yeah. And again, I think if I'm putting a percentage on it, I'm probably like maybe 65-35, 60-40. I do think that the players are always going to make mistakes. That's just why they're young, they are being developed, and they make mistakes in the NFL too. You know, the coaches are where we need to limit those. We don't see those coaching mistakes as much. So I think it's more so on the coaches than the players. I will say though, the best part of the show after the game on Saturday, and I know that you guys are frowning upon it a little bit, but man, hearing some of the people call in that were just wasted and slurring just kind of made me smile a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it was just kind of funny and entertaining. You know what I mean? But the show helped me out. So in terms of
it was a rough night, man.
Of,
you know what, dude? I got to tell you, man. I looked up at the corner where my metrics are when I'm live, and I saw like a number that started with a 6. And I'm like, holy shit. Of all the nights, I'm going to have the highest number I ever. We were like 600 something people live. For me, that's huge. And I just knew this is going to be a rough, long night, but it needed to be done. I refused to be a front runner. And I refused to even let anybody say that I did anything that makes me look like a front runner. I'm not doing it. I'd rather face the music and hate myself.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Like I said, I'm glad that you're growing. Obviously, more people seeing it. I'll give you another compliment, and then I'll kind of get into a few points. But, you know, before that, the Blue and Gold and really some of the other shows you went on, you know, not as much the Ohio State show for me, just because I'm not obviously an Ohio State fan, but the Blue and Gold show with Goolsby and everything else, man, that was awesome. And I feel like you got a lot of play out of that. And I think that I would say that, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I would imagine that this subscriber count went up pretty good after that show.
Yeah. And you know what? You know, there are things happening, let's just say, and that's a good thing. So I like getting those kind of opportunities. And here's the other thing. Mike Goolsby and I, we have some chemistry. Like, there's just something. We grew up 15 minutes apart. Like, I don't know if that's a part of it or not. We didn't know each other, but we grew up 15 minutes apart. But him and I are on the same wavelength. And so I like that. And there may be some things coming down the road with that, because it was the people want it.
Yeah, everybody loved it. I just say don't stop being critical, because I feel like the shows that are being critical this week, there's a lot of people giving passes to Freeman. There's a lot of people giving passes to Parker and a lot of other people. And I don't think they frankly deserve it. I don't care who they are, how new they are. Some of the things that occurred just kind of were egregious in my opinion. So, I think there's a few shows that are galvanizing their base, if you will, and those are the ones that are still being critical when it really matters. So, but I know that's kind of one of the things that have kept you as you are and what people appreciate the most. So, in terms of concerns, I got concerns about Freeman. Obviously, you can go all the way back to Oklahoma State and the terrible half that they had. Obviously, we could talk about Marshall and Stanford and just some of these calls. I think the biggest concern was in the press conference and Freeman saying that he didn't question calls that Parker was making. And I'm thinking, like, I think the head coach has to question everything. So,
but no, wait. Time out. I always say this.
Go.
I always say this with Notre Dame fans. Even if he did question it, he can't say it in that moment to you. Like, I say this all the time when people react to what Freeman says up there. Like, what do you mean, John? Are you telling me Freeman wouldn't tell me the 100% truth? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you, because he's a football coach. And a part of your job sometimes is to muddy up the truth enough to, dude, whoever you are, you're driving me nuts. How many times are you going to tell me to take another call? Donate money. Get off my ass for the 5th time. You're not the only guy waiting. Donate money if you want to get on. Anyways, what was I saying? Now I'm mad. I've lost it. What was I saying?
You're talking about the coaches and him calling out publicly, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're gone, caller. Dude, you don't get to come in here, donate $0, and then boss me around on my own show. Bye-bye. You gone. Anyways, there are some things he just has to take the bullets for. The entire Ludwig not being hired wasn't Freeman's fault, but he got up there and toed the company line because he asked to. That's what you have to do. And he did it. Like, he can't tell you the truth. Even if he didn't like it, he couldn't say it.
Yeah, I agree.
Execution.
What I would have liked to have seen.
Execution. That's what they say. You know what I mean? They say, we like what we did. We just need to execute. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen ultimately, hey, I think Love had that big run. Estime had that 11 yards, and then we kind of go away from them. In terms of what was working, if we did a Brian Kelly and we drove Estime down the middle and got stopped 3 plays in a row, we would have given them the ball back with like 30 to 40 seconds and 0 timeouts. I would obviously have as much preferred that. But, again, it is what it is. We'll see kind of how we go. So, moving forward, I don't want to see a repeat, obviously, of last year and obviously post Notre Dame or post Ohio State. And we're playing a much better team at night with game day, than we did last year. So obviously cannot have a repeat of Marshall or we're done. But, I think all in all, I agree with you. Get rid of the green. Let's go blue and gold only. When I was at the Central Michigan game, I bought the Ohio State t-shirt, and now it's like a shirt I could never wear ever again because that was going to hurt forever. I was like, it's like a $20 dish rag I have now sitting in my house.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, it's, I don't know, man. This is just, this whole thing feels so uniquely Notre Dame-y. And I have a hard time with that. Does it not feel like this, the only way a game could end that way and be what it's just so Notre Dame-y. And I just wait and pray that I am alive the one time that they end up on the other end of this. Man, it's just been a rough 38 years for me.
Well, I'm with you. And I think that's the reason I personally listen to the show, and I think others do as well, in terms of the way that you speak and explain about things. And I'll say like, hey, I'm a Giants fan as well. But when the Giants lose or they get embarrassed or they get their butts, it doesn't ruin my day. It doesn't ruin my night. It doesn't ruin my weekend, and I'm not emotionally attached to them. but it does for Notre Dame. I couldn't tell you why. Can't explain it. Can't tell anybody else why. Notre Dame just has a different feel for me than other teams that I follow. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, no, there's a lot.
100%.
Hey, man, there's a lot wrapped into that. And when I think about it on a bigger level, the Notre Dame fan base is just, there's so much that goes into that with religion, with heritage. It's not just like, why do you like the Bears? Because I live in the Chicago suburbs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is a complicated relationship with your soul when you're a diehard Notre Dame fan. It overlaps for a lot of people with spirituality, with their where their family's from. There's a lot of heavy ties there, more than just, why do I like U of I? Because I live in Illinois. Like, no, bro. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it. Anything else, my friend? Thank you for the call, and thank you for making sense and being nice.
No, man, I'll just say this, man. I want our best players to have the ball in the biggest moments. And I think that's where Estimate should have had it. I think that's where Hartman should have had it. We brought Hartman in for a reason. I don't think that reason came to fruition against Ohio State, and I really think we should have. Now people are talking about the receivers and, you know, they're getting open. And I think another takeaway too is in the fourth quarter, and you look at who came up big. Greathouse and Flores came up big. Where's our upperclassmen? Where's Merriweather? Where's all these guys? So it'll be big to see kind of where they are this week. This will be a big determining factor in terms of where the game is, where the team is, and how we move forward. But I will go with this, and I'll give pushback because I think this is what everybody says. I do not think that USC this year is as big or will be as big as what Ohio State was leading into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, and I anticipate them being undefeated, and then that becomes, it was already a must win. It's a double, triple must win after you already have a loss now. So especially at home, like, I'm not even ready to get into that, but there is no leeway now. There is no flexibility. There's no leeway. They're going to have to find a way. But hey, man, I really appreciate the call and very good thoughts. Anything else on the way out? Thank you.
Yeah. Ultimately, hey, our tackling right now is worse than it was last year. So we got to tighten it up. We got to get better. John, I appreciate it. Like I said, man, pleasure just meeting you and everybody at the tailgate. Looking forward to another one. Looking forward to continuously calling in, being on the line, being on the chat, donations, the whole nine. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And in these times, this is when we need always Irish most. So it's good during good times, but it's great during bad times, and that's where we need the therapy. So we appreciate you, sir. Have a great one.
Thank you very, very much. That means a lot to me, man. If I could serve that role, that's fine. The only problem is I feel like I need to be committed. So I don't know if I'm the best guy. Kent says, he's laughing. John, just do how they do on prison calls. You have 3 minutes remaining. Insert another quarter. Oh, man. And then what else? Oh, boy. See, listen, you guys, single dad Jimbo out here with his dating profile. Can we stop talking about OSU? It's Duke time. Again, I opened up this show over 2 hours ago saying there is no way to make everyone happy this week because no one's going to be happy this week no matter what. And everybody who loves Notre Dame in their soul to where it isn't a choice, but it's in them. Hear me out. I didn't say people who picked Notre Dame as their favorite football team. That ain't what I mean. People who never chose to be Notre Dame people, but that are. Nobody's happy. And so how you grieve is up to you. Everybody's different. Some people want to move on to the next thing. And that idea of activity and getting on to the next thing helps them. Other people are not done rehashing that nightmare. I'm in the middle. I feel both. So you got to give me a break, bro. I got to meet people where they're at. Too much of Ohio State and then people are mad. Not enough and people are mad. This is one of those weeks where we're all miserable. Pick your lane. Not the best last few days. You know what I'm saying? 386, you're in the mix. What's going down?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Can you hear me, man?
I can hear you. What's on your mind?
Hey, it is Brad Florida down here in Florida. Hey, feel real bad for y'all up there in Notre Dame. I saw touchdown Jesus with my own eyes back in 2002. I'm a Michigan fan myself, but hey, I feel bad for y'all. But hey, what was our last caller's name?
It was, what's his screen name? It would have been, I forget, it already disappeared off the screen.
Oh, well, hey, man, that guy sure talks a lot. I'm sitting here drinking my Budweiser. I drank 2 of those things before that guy got done talking, man. You got to hurry this place up. Are you going to keep losing these games, man?
Yeah, it's just rough. But wait, you're a Michigan fan, you said?
Proud and true. Go blue, my man. Oh, hey, by the way,
So
I thought you told me that I wasn't going to be on the air. I thought you told me that I was going to be gone. I'm right here, man. You told me I was going to be gone in the chat. I'm right here.
Can I ask you a question?
What you talking about, buddy, huh? I'm saying it right to your face, bud. Go blue, huh?
You are not a smart person. How in the hell would I know your call-in number from your screen name?
That's exactly my point. Name. That's what I said. That's why I said you said I was gone. I said, no, I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
You're the one that's not.
Yeah, you're gone. You're gone. What an idiot. What an idiot. You are gone. Take your little, chalk it all up. The Hill Rod accent combined with being a Michigan fan, that's just touch them all. But the idea, he is not the first one. He is not the first one that has talked shit in the chat. And then I get to his call and then they run their mouth, but they do it in a way that they know I don't know. It's the guy I was mad at in a chat and they think it gives them leverage. That is not going to work against me. Multiple people have found this angle where they'll talk shit in here. I won't know their number. And then they get on the air and then they run their mouth, but they don't want me to know that it's that guy. You don't get to do that. If you want to play those games, let's go man to man. And you say, I got a problem with you, 314 area code, and then I know what I'm dealing with. He was trying to take a victory lap that I said he was gone and he wasn't. Well, once I knew it was him, he's gone. Call the E.J. Holland show or whatever you want to do. Jesus. Yeah, buddy, I'm already 4 Bud Lights deep down here on the Florida beach, and I'm just thinking about myself. Some Jim Harbaugh footballs. I hope we can beat the Buckeyes, even though you weren't able to. All right, I got to get back to my full-time job chasing anacondas in the rainforest. I'll talk to y'all later. Go Big Blue. Give me a freaking break. This show's over. That was it. I'm done on that performance. That's it. There's a bunch of other callers. That one got to me. I'm it. Mark with glasses, you know what to do with that clip. Cut it up and I'll post it on Twitter and on YouTube as a short later. I just finished my 7th breakfast beer and now I got to go wrangle them anacondas down there. And then I'm going to take the skin out and make cowboy boots out of them and put Go Big Blue on them. I don't like no Notre Dames with you guys in your book learnings and all your readings and your mathematical equations and your family values. I ain't here's for that. That's it. This show's over. I love most of you. Mark with glasses. You are the one, and you know what I mean. Do your thing, baby. And I have to admit to you guys, doing that accent is a lot of fun. Maybe I just need to create a character because I had a lot of fun with that one, okay? But geez, Mark, cut that up. I love you guys. That was the most fun I have had. Doing that accent was the most fun I have had since the game ended. I am genuinely appreciative of that guy being a troll. That is the happiest and the most I've smiled since the game, and it makes me very happy. It makes me very happy. Yeah, they're pythons, not anacondas. Whatever, bro. Whatever it is, I hope one strangles around that dude's body after he has his 15th morning beer. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm out of here. I'm done, dude. I'm done. See you guys. I love you. Thanks to donations. Thanks for all of it. I love it. Have a good one. Oh, man.